It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and other comics from all over. We ended up in Japan because our weight is less in kilograms. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
Mark Bailey, Mike Miller on Talk Funny. So, Mike, I went to the beach recently.
Yeah.
There's a Filipina girl, a Brazilian lady, and a Serbian girl. And they all walk into a bar.
I didn't see that one coming.
Guess who paid? I did. Because they don't pay. I said, hey, are you in crime or something? Because crime never pays.
Mark pays.
So
He's bought a lot of handbags in his time.
So Jimmy Choo owes me like a building. I don't wear them. I don't wear Jimmy Choo's. I don't even know what a Jimmy Choo is. I heard there's two of them. There's two of them. Maybe it's some kind of clothing. I don't know. But my credit card bill
has a lot of them on it.
We were going to do Bob Saget in memoriam. I can't remember if this one made it out of the ether or not. But Bob Saget was another mentor of mine. He was also there at the Dangerfield Club. The funny thing is, after the Dangerfield special, we hung out, all of us comics hung out all night at a coffee shop and then a Greek diner. And some of them left, some of them went different places. But Bob Saget was really, really nice to us. He always was, he didn't have the show yet.
Yeah, he didn't have a Full House or America's Funniest Home Videos. Yeah.
This is before that. This is maybe Dangerfield's HBO special, maybe 85 or 86, somewhere around there.
And maybe 87 was when?
Yeah. He got that show.
And then he did Full House after that, kind of?
He did Full House first.
Oh, okay, and then he got...
America's Funniest Videos was late 80s, early 90s. Mm-hmm. He got Full House first because his act was filthy.
Yes.
And so the executives thought it would be funny to have him do a clean part as a
Tanner.
Yeah, as a dad. He did these kind of jokes. He would do these filthy jokes on stage, and he'd say, forgot my car keys. F me. No, seriously, F me. No, please do. I'd really like to try it. No, seriously, come on. And he'd do his jokes. He'd say, my girlfriend is 4 feet tall. I'm nuts over her.
Oh.
Yeah. And people were like, oh, my God. He was just such a clean-cut Jewish boy. He just looked like a Jewish mom's dream.
Right.
But he just filth from his mouth,
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't usually come here. I usually come in the parking lot behind here. This is the 80s. This is on cable, HBO, right? And then afterwards, so Logan and I opened, and I can't remember some of the guys at first. I think Bob Nelson might have been second, but Bob Saget was pretty close to the front. I did an awards show, and I would say, these are the nominees, and he goes, these are my knees. And he touched the knees. But he just his mind was just racing. Anyway, after the show, Logan was down because he was on mushrooms and he was paranoid. And
that sounds so unlike Logan.
So Saget sat down with us at a Greek diner. Sam Kinison, he was like at some party.
He was probably at a party with strippers by then.
There was some other people, maybe Bob Nelson was there, but we didn't talk to him much. But Saget goes, your friend looks really down. He goes, I saw you guys open. You're not bad. I said, yeah, we're probably not going to make the cut. He goes, oh, you're definitely not making the cut. You can tell you're starting out. But he said to me, I like your jokes. I didn't scream about my wife because I wasn't married then. Mm-hmm. Oh, happy day before she came. Oh, happy day. And took my life away. Took my dreams away.
This is
happy day.
Nothing I've ever heard before, Mark. You're telling me you have marital issues?
I meet people in Nagoya that have been to our show. Some guy, I don't remember, and he walks up and he goes, I remember your act. You hate your wife. That's what you remember? Like I'm not funny? You don't remember that I'm funny? Or
I don't remember any of the jokes.
I hate my wife. How? What do you mean I hate my wife? Oh, like the way you tell the story. And no, I don't know. You said it. It's
like, what is comedy? Is it comedy or is it like Divorced Dads Club? It's just like, or soon to be divorced. Divorced and soon to be Divorced Dads Club.
So Saget, he wasn't being funny or sarcastic. And he said to me, and he goes, you can slow down. You do that and have more confidence. Just slow down. I said, but people weren't laughing and you get confidence. He goes, maybe they're drunk. Maybe they're dumb. Maybe they're not listening. Maybe they're talking to a waitress. Maybe they're staring at the waitress's boobs. Mm-hmm. He said, there's 100 reasons somebody's not laughing at your joke. And none of them have anything to do with you. If you thought it was funny, I bet if you told this joke 17 times, 17th time, you probably get a laugh. And he goes, so Logan, he goes, so what's your problem? You know, why are you so down? And he goes, because I'm on mushrooms. And he goes, when did you take the mushrooms? He goes, like an hour before I went on stage. And he goes, yeah, I'm thinking maybe don't do mushrooms and then go on stage. Do you think that might be, is that helpful to you? He said it without any sarcasm. If I said it, Billy, is that helpful? But he said, no. And said, does that make sense? Is that helpful to you? He goes, yeah. And he goes, and you smoked some pot, didn't you? He goes, yeah. I go, how did you know? He goes, I can smell it. Maybe do drugs after your successful stage act. Maybe that's a choice. He goes, yeah. So I can't have mushrooms and comedy. And he goes, you can have comedy and then mushrooms. Is that okay? Do you have to have them both? Maybe be of a sane mind. And we get up and he goes, yeah, but I was on mushrooms and I forgot my whole act. And he goes, well, that's probably going to happen on mushrooms. So maybe don't do that again. Does that help? Anyway, don't kill yourselves, guys. It's really good.
That is good.
He gave us his number, and I called him one time. I just got voice machine. Mm-hmm. But he goes, if you need help on comedy or something, I give you advice.
What a nice guy. Huh?
He goes, but don't quit comedy because there's some jerks. He goes, it was what I told you guys later. He goes, every night's different. Every night is a different crowd. And one time you're going to get a good crowd, and that's going to make you go for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you remember the good crowd. It's like, now I know I can do it. It's not my jokes. It's these people in the audience, right? Mm-hmm. So that's Bob Saget recipes.
That's what I think about Bob Saget, maybe why he's so popular among comedians, even though he wasn't maybe, let's say, considered in the popularity, like in terms of like Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle or someone like that, one of those who fills Madison Square Garden. I think it's just that he seemed like a really nice guy, and like you said, he seemed very helpful to the other comedians. So I think a lot of comedians really loved him because if you watch the special, which I recommend everyone watch with a box of tissues because you're going to cry. That was really good. What was it called? Dirty Daddy? I think it was called Dirty Daddy. Like that, it's very good, and it's got...
not so funny, but...
not so funny, but it has...
Very respectful.
They even got... they got so many comedians to come out and say a few words about Bob Saget. It was quite something.
Jim Carrey was quite good.
Yes.
Quite good.
And that was his first time on stage at the Comedy Store, they said, in like 20 years or something.
Jim Carrey had a great one. At the very beginning, Bob Saget's widow got up and talked. And she said, thank you for having me here, and I really appreciate you all being here for Bob. And Jim Carrey goes, that's enough out of you.
Yeah.
Get off stage. I got jokes to do.
Yeah, he was great. And the manager, too, was quite funny. Did a routine, I think, his manager or something.
It wasn't Chris Rock wasn't on there.
Chris Rock was on there for a short time, and then he kind of went away.
Big names.
Yeah, but big names there. And John Mayer was there playing. And
if you don't want to cry, I would skip the music. Yeah, John Mayer.
And what's the other big guy?
Jackson Brown. It was really
Jeff
sad.
Ross was great as MC as well.
Great.
He was really good.
Really sad though, because during the music, Saget's daughters were on stage and they were bawling.
Yeah.
And Jeff Ross was bawling.
Yeah.
And I was bawling, and people were like, "Just drive the bus and stop crying and put your iPhone away."
And put down that shoe high. But it was really touching. What Jeff Ross said, I forget which podcast I was listening to, but he said that actually they didn't know they were being filmed until it started, and then this guy said, I have some cameras here, or whoever the manager recorded. I don't know if that's true. It sounds kind of apocryphal, but so it wasn't planned to be I don't know if they planned to make this. They must have someone planned to make a special out of it.
When you do
it must be. They had all sorts of TV. What's his name appeared on TV from. What's his name? The director, the critic, John Lovitz appeared on, did a thing.
That was all prepped. He
was all prepped. Everything
when you're doing
prepped.
Netflix, you see the cameras. It's kind of like a show that I'm doing. You see like 17 iPads.
Hanging around. Something's going to happen.
No, but they also...
one of those iPads is going to break.
And they do a security check, and they do a mic check, and they're doing warm-up.
Right.
And you see people with Netflix on the back of their jacket walking around.
Right.
I had no idea there was gambling at a casino, that there was a show at a Netflix show with a bunch of Netflix people walking around. Because they're advertising, they want you to know
you're right. Yeah. But it was a great show. I recommended Dirty Daddy. It's on Netflix now, I think. And we're not getting paid by Netflix to say that. So, but if you want to pay us, we're happy to accept.
You know what's a good way to get paid, though, if you did want to pay us? Have you heard of Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah. No, I heard Dogecoin's better.
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin's better, right?
This episode not brought to you by Dogecoin.
Well, you can
It's
join
fun.
us on our Patreon page if you want to pay.
By the way, our most recent contributor, I offered to mention his name. He's a Canadian fellow, and he doesn't want to be associated with.
Oh, wonderful!
No,
so he's a real fan then.
I'm kidding. He said he doesn't need a shout out. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you too.
His first name starts with J, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And if anyone else wants to support us, you can find us on Patreon. You can also find a link on our webpage, nagoyacomedy.com.
You can send comments to axportjapan@yahoo.com. And it's a long story, but that's the spamless way for us to get quick messages from you. Shout out to our listeners in India and Sri Lanka, which uses a different kind of YouTube version.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, shout out to India for sure. I didn't know that. You told me there's a lot of people listening in India, so that's great. I'm happy about that.
Also,
so we'll take back everything bad we said about Russell Peters.
Sure.
Now. He's great. He's amazing. Go see him.
Also, off air, something I learned from 300 of our listeners in a row with the exact same email. Apparently, some prince in Mumbai has died, and I'll talk to you about that after the show, Mike.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, we can make a lot of money. Do you have a lot of money? Because all you have to do, you need to put a lot of money in.
Yeah.
And then we can get more money back.
That sounds like a great deal. We should look into that.
It's a really extravagant amount you have to put in, but you can get like 10 times that.
Wow.
Yeah, you won't lose
I didn't hear about that in the news.
Thanks to our
one
avid
Patreon
emailers.
Supporter. Yeah, one of our emailers. Yeah.
Thank you, Cisco bots. All right, Mark Bailey, Mike Miller, Talk Funny.